Let me call on Senator Portman for his explanation or statement before we get into any other discussion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you and Ranking Member Murkowski for your work with us over the last several months on this legislation and for having the markup today. I also want to thank Senator Shaheen, who's been a terrific partner in this, and her staff. Trent Bowserman and Chris Spitzer have been great to work with, and I think we've come up with legislation, as Senator Shaheen well described, that can be supported broadly. And I think I hope we'll see that today. It's a pretty common sense idea. It's, you know, the notion that we need to save energy because that enables us to not have to produce so much. I believe we ought to find more energy. I'm a strong proponent of that. I think increased production is important, but I think we also ought to use less. And so this is a common sense approach that I think members of the committee can support wholeheartedly. It's not the legislation that everybody wanted it to be. Some of the advocacy groups and some of the industry groups both had input into this, and at the end, I think we have legislation that is balanced. Senator Shaheen talked about some of the changes that we made. I will say it's now supported by over 110 organizations and industries, and I think it is prepared not just to get through this committee today, but to get through the floor, which would be a rare occurrence in this body, and one I think that's very important. So it's not everything everybody wanted, but it is a huge step in the right direction in terms of encouraging efficiency and conservation. I want to just, if I could, specifically address one issue, which is the concern that home builders have had with the legislation. They have not opposed it, but they've expressed concerns, and we've tried to address those. This has been an open, transparent, and I think very productive process with all groups, but I think the home builders would agree that we have listened to them carefully. They're having a tough time staying afloat in a difficult economy, and we want to be sure that we are responsive to that. There are 6 or 7 changes that we have made from the original legislation to address their concerns, including being sure that you know, they understand that this the code included in here is voluntary and not mandatory on the states. I won't go over all those issues here today. I've done this before in the hearing process, but if there are any questions about where we have made changes to address some of these concerns, we'd be happy to discuss those. I think all of the things we have done to change it, to address their concerns, improve the legislation, and I'm very proud to support it. I know Senator Paul is not here. He planned to offer an amendment to the legislation addressing some of his concerns in this regard, and if he were to offer that amendment, I just want to say that I would support it because I think what he is concerned about is addressed in the bill, and I think Senator Shaheen agrees with me on that. So, Mr. Chairman, again, thank you for your support, and Senator Murkowski for your support of this legislation. I appreciate the fact everybody's worked productively on this, and if there are any questions, be happy to try to answer them.
I'm advised that Senator Murkowski